Imagine a world without words, without a single spoken syllable to express joy, fear, or love. How would you tell your story? How would you warn others of danger, or share the triumph of a great hunt? This isn't a sci-fi plot, it's the reality of our earliest ancestors. Long before the first languages were formed, humanity found a way to speak, not with their voices, but with their hands. They spoke in symbols, in colors, on the silent, waiting canvases of cave walls. This is the story of how art became our first language. Let's travel back in time, tens of thousands of years, into the deep dark recesses of a cave. The air is cool and still. The only light is the flickering flame of a torch dancing across rugged stone surfaces. Here, in these subterranean galleries, the first human artists were at work, using charcoal from their fires and pigments ground from ochre, manganese, and clay. They painted animals, majestic bison, thundering herds of horses, and fierce lions. They painted human hands, stenciled against the rock, as if to say, I was here, I existed. These weren't just pretty pictures. Each image was a word, a sentence, a story packed with meaning. A painting of a successful hunt wasn't just a record. It was a prayer for future success, a teaching tool for the young, a spiritual ritual to connect with the animal spirits they depended on. The symbols they used were a shared code. A wavy line might represent water or a snake. A circle could be the sun, the moon, or the cycle of life itself. These were humanity's first pictograms, the very seeds from which all written language would eventually grow. These caves were our first libraries, our first history books, each wall a page chronicling the beliefs, knowledge, and daily lives of a lost world. Think about the sheer effort involved. These early artists had to venture deep into treacherous, unlit caves, places often considered sacred or dangerous. They had to gather their materials, grind their own pigments, and create their masterpieces by the faint, unreliable light of a torch. Why go to such lengths? Because this was more than just decoration. It was a fundamental human need to communicate, to connect, to leave a mark on the world that would outlast their own fleeting lives. They were communicating with their community, with future generations, and perhaps even with the spiritual forces they believed governed their world. Color, in this silent language, was incredibly important. It wasn't just for aesthetics. It was a code for emotion and spirituality. Red, often made from iron-rich ochre, was a powerful, vibrant color. It could represent blood, life, energy, and violence. It was used in both hunting scenes and burial rituals, linking the concepts of life and death. Black, derived from charcoal or manganese oxide, often signified darkness, the unknown, or the mysterious spirit world within the deep caves. Yellow and brown, also from ochre, connected them to the earth, the sun, and the living world outside. The choice of color was a deliberate act, adding layers of meaning and emotional weight to each image, much like a poet chooses specific words to evoke a feeling. This ancient understanding of color psychology still resonates with us today. We associate red with passion and danger, and yellow with happiness and light. The roots of these associations stretch all the way back to these first cave wall conversations. As human societies grew and became more complex, so did their need for communication. The simple pictograms of the caves began to evolve. In ancient Mesopotamia, around 3500 BC, the Sumerians developed cuneiform. They started with pictures, just like their cave-dwelling ancestors, but soon simplified them into wedge-shaped marks, pressed into wet clay. A picture of a head became a simple series of lines that meant head. This was a revolutionary step. Symbols began to represent not just objects, but also sounds and abstract ideas. Meanwhile, in Egypt, another incredible system was taking shape: hieroglyphs. Here, the visual artistry of the old world was beautifully preserved. A symbol of an owl wasn't just a picture, it also represented the M sound. A wavy line still meant water, but it also stood for the N sound. The Egyptians created a sophisticated language that was both phonetic and symbolic, a true hybrid of picture and letter. They carved these intricate stories onto temple walls and monuments, ensuring their history, religion, and culture would be preserved in stone for millennia. From the intricate characters of China, which also evolved from pictograms, to the Phoenician alphabet that would eventually give rise to the Greek, Latin, and modern English alphabets, the journey is clear. Every letter you are reading right now, every word we speak, has a distant ancestor painted in ochre on the wall of a forgotten cave. The visual language didn't disappear, it transformed, becoming the foundation of nearly all global communication. So, has this ancient practice of speaking through walls died out? Absolutely not. It's alive and thriving, splashed across the urban landscapes of our modern world. Think about it. What is street art and graffiti, if not a modern form of cave painting? Artists today use spray cans instead of ground pigments, and brick walls instead of limestone, but the fundamental impulse is the same. They are expressing themselves, telling stories, and making social and political statements. A powerful mural can transform a drab building into a canvas for community pride, protest, or hope. It's a public conversation, a visual dialogue happening right in our environment. Just like ancient symbols, modern logos communicate complex ideas in an instant. A simple swoosh, a bitten apple, these are the pictograms of our time, understood globally without a single word. Emoticons and emojis are a direct digital evolution of this concept. We send a smiley face or a heart to convey emotion much faster and sometimes more effectively than typing out "I am happy" or "I love you." We are, in essence, still using a visual language to add emotional color and nuance to our communication, just as our ancestors did with red and black pigments. The legacy of these first artists is all around us. It's in the art we hang on our walls, the logos that define our brands, the movies and video games that tell stories through images, and the very letters that form our words. They taught us that a single image can hold a universe of meaning. They proved that the need to share our inner world is one of the most powerful and enduring forces of humanity. The next time you see a piece of street art, a powerful photograph, or even just a simple emoji, take a moment. Remember those ancient hands, stenciled in red ochre in the flickering firelight deep inside the earth. They were the first to discover the profound magic of visual language, a magic that connects us all across thousands of years in a silent, colorful, and unending conversation. We are still speaking the language they invented. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the history of human creativity. Let me know in the comments what modern symbols you think will stand the test of time. See you in the next one.